everybody. Woohoo! Can you hear me okay? Yay! I got thumbs up from Erin. I am Tanya Craig, and I don't know a few of you here. And I just want to take a moment to introduce myself, introduce my beautiful wife, who is actually on the other side of the screen for me. Linda Craig is my love, is also my business partner, and she takes care of everything in the background for us for the online business and also for my practice. And I am Tanya Craig. I am a relationship therapist, coach, and speaker. And ultimately, I am a person who has lived these experiences. Hello for the waves. All right. So, just so you know who the heck is blabbing at you, this next little while, we will just introduce, and then I'm going to walk through these 3 steps with you all in a half an hour. At the end, I'm going to let you know how you can take it to the next level if you want. And then I'm going to hang on this call to make sure that your questions are answered. It's going to be fast paced because we want to capitalize on our time. And so I really encourage you to make notes as you go. So if you have a question, either put it in chat and Linda's going to make sure that I see it, or write it down on a sticky note. All right. I'm going to start my timer so I stay on time with y'all. My journey, this part of my journey began in 2010. I was living in Texas and I was living the perfect life. I was a stay-at-home mom, Ironman athlete, on the board of the PTA. I was one of those friends that would have you freaking fresh baked cookies on your doorstep before you freaking woke up in the morning and realized it was your birthday. I was really over the top. And I didn't know it at the time, but really what I was doing was staying so busy that, one, I didn't feel, but two, I was staying busy and hustling for my worth. Again, of course, I didn't know it at the time. I was just doing. And by deriving my value from meeting other people's expectations, what I soon realized was that in that space, I was constantly trying to hit a bar that was unachievable because really it wasn't what they wanted, but it was what I was perceiving. So, what I soon learned by doing my own work over the next 10 years was that, one, I have a voice. Two, I have very different values than my then ex husband had. And three, all the while that I was inviting connection, learning how to step into who I was and what I wanted, like how hard is it for us to figure out what we actually want? As I figured out what I wanted and asked for it specifically, like the steps I'm going to walk you through, more often than not, in the end, I wasn't met. And some of you might not be met by your person either. But most importantly, what I learned through that was who I am matters. Who I am just as I am. I have a voice, I have values, and I can live fully. So I learned to step completely into my part of the relationship. And through that, I figured out who I was. And I want that for you. With my clients, time and time again, I see them kind of dip their toe in, try it out a little bit, and then conclude that it's not going to work or now's not the time, and off they go. And they let their desire slide. They let their wish for connection just kind of be on the back burner. And time again, when I see women in particular put their wishes on the back burner, men too, we start to live a life that is gray, that is flat, that is more and more protected. We start getting more and more walled up. And in that space, life is pretty boring. So I'm going to invite you through 3 steps to be able to step out of that comfort zone, know exactly what you want, and how to ask for it. How does that sound? All right. Yeah. I love that. So the first step is consider your mindset. What mindset are you holding and bringing to your relationship? Do you have a fixed mindset where you scan their face and you're like, oh, yeah, no, they're crabby. I'm walking away from this one? Do you hear their tone and it triggers all of these memories of times that you two have had tension and you're like, now's not a good time? When we have a fixed mindset, we're scanning what we're seeing and we're concluding without them even in the conversation yet, we're setting ourselves up for complete disaster. And I know because I was the queen of that. And now I know what it's like when I actually get to step into that connection and conversation. So, cool concept to have a curious and open mindset, but how do you actually do it? You know, that time, I want you all to think about your person. And you have been like, oh, I really miss connecting with them. Or, damn, if they would just put down their phone. Or, you know, do I matter anymore? I love it. Right? So, in that space, when you are looking for evidence that they're doing the same old thing, hold that um, clear, concise, certain, right mindset that you have and flip it to a question. Flip it to a question that you're going to then ask them. Okay, so it sounds something like this. And I still do this with my honey. So her face is extremely expression full. And she'll have a look on her face of like complete like frustration and utter chaos looking in her head. And I'm like, damn, she's mad. And yes, I can run with that conclusion sometimes if I'm worried about how she's going to react and I'm playing it safe. But now, more times than not, I'll go in and go, honey, I'm seeing that it looks like there's a lot going on in your head right now. Is there? Funny enough, 9 times out of 10, my sweetie is like, no, I'm just trying to figure out how to get my password back. Right. But if I had run with my previous conclusions, like I have history of doing, I would have made it that she's pissed. I would have run more stories like a lot of my clients do, and my friends that I've talked to run stories about what I'm going to make that facial expression mean. Or if I see them on their phone, and I still do this with my honey, she's on her phone, and I'm like, oh, they're more important than me. And so in that space, I've learned to be able to ask, right? I see the head nodding. So as soon as we have that certainty, then it's to ask, sweetie, what you're doing right now is is it more important than how you feel about me? Caveat, be open to hearing their answer and believe them. Okay, because we are such complex beings. Your person is a complex being. They have thoughts, they have beliefs, they have insecurities, they have emotions, they have hunger, they have tired, and on and on and on. So, what you're seeing on the outside is nothing of what they are maybe going through on the inside. Okay, so number one is mindset, and that's your mindset to be curious. Number two is to get clear about what you want. What experience are you wishing you could have with your person? So often I hear people say, oh, we used to do that. Oh, I miss the dating days. Oh, they used to bring me flowers. But used to isn't going to serve you at all. Think about what experience it is you want to have right now. And what experience are you going to step into asking for? Because right now, being clear about, do you want physical intimacy? Do you want heart to heart connection? Do you want play and activity with them? Do you want intellectual stimulation? What kind of experience do you want to have with them? This place is a really common place for people to be stuck. It is not super comfortable for us to ask ourselves, what do we want? We don't often put ourselves at the front of our needs, especially as women, to then wonder, well, what do I want? And can I be worthy enough of asking it? And am I bothering someone? And yada, 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 all the stuff that goes on in the back of the mind. So it's okay if you don't know what you want right now, But it is critical that you get clear, because if you don't get clear as to what you want, how on earth are you going to ask them to meet your need? Right? So, an example of this one is, and Linda gave me permission to use it. Lynn's would come to me on a day where we're doing a lot of online work, and she's here in the office, and I'm in the living room, and we're both in our own lanes, and it's heavy draining in those moments. She'd come in and be like, "Hey, babe? Are you planning on going for a walk this afternoon?" And I'd look at her and be like, "What the hell? What? 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 I'm what?" And so in my head, what's going on is I'm like, oh God, another to do. Am I supposed to be walking? Did I walk? Am I not healthy enough? And I can run some stories just on her going, hey, are you going for a walk later? And in that moment, I have that face of like, what? And that's not an inviting face, right? So it'd be natural for her to then conclude, oh, you don't want to go for a walk, because underneath it, when we circled back about this, because it came to us a few times, when we're able to get under what did Linda actually want in that moment, she wanted to connect with me. She wanted a change of pace. She wanted a shift in our experience. Linda's amazing at getting us energized and getting us to pop out of our heads and into the moment. And it's a beautiful blessing. But I miss that when she comes and asks me if I'm planning it, right? So she was able to reframe it and bring it to a place of, hey, honey, I want to connect with you. And I'm thinking if we can get outside and just do like a 20-minute walk, would 2 or 3 o'clock work for you? Do you want to join me? Because I'd love you to join me. That was entirely different, right? It came from like, now it's a to do for me to, oh my God, you want to be with me, honey. Right? Now you get like this gooey little, "Aw." Because ultimately, we all want to be seen and heard, and we all want to know that we matter to our person. So, what I'm asking for you, because you're here, and kudos to you two, because you're both here. Yay! What I want to ask of you is get clear as to what you want to experience with your person. What specific behavior, what specific action, what specific words. Here's another quick example. So, with my ex husband at the time, when I was starting speaking, I was petrified, and I would actually leave my body every time I stood in front of a room of people. And every time I would get on the phone with him right beforehand, and he would start to coach me and, like, yeah, well, make sure you do this and make sure you do that. And it would just throw me off. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm not even good enough. Why bother? Finally, I got really clear and I realized, you know what I need to hear is you've got this. That's it. And so I asked him, and it seemed really weird. Like, I'm going to respond to me telling you what I want to hear. I don't know about this. But sure enough, the next time the opportunity came along and I was nervous and I called him up and I said, hey, I'm nervous. He remembered and he said, you've got this. And it just settled me because it's what I wanted. Okay. So it's super important to figure out, what do you want? Now, number 3, how the heck do you ask for it? This is an area that a lot of people struggle with because they want to like test the waters. They want to just dip their toe in to see if the other person's going to magically read their mind, or going to be able to show them that it's going to be worth putting their heart, right, their vulnerable request on the table. So there's 2 components to this step. The first one is, please, please, please notice your timing. You've put effort into this. You've been curious. You got clear as to what you want. Do not all of a sudden, hey, baby, yeah, when you get back, that didn't go well, right? Give yourself a chance to be heard and let yourself fumble through the words. So the first thing is, you have to set up your timing. I hear time and time again from couples say, well, there's never a time. I say BS. And I want you to fully step into your power, your ability to be able to make things happen, because you can. So yours is, hey, I want to share something with you. I need to connect with you. Can we just have 5 minutes? Whatever your language is, you let them know that you have something important that you want to share with them. When would be a good time? Better yet, give them a time option. Would 6 o'clock work for you tonight? Hey, 7 o'clock tonight. Do you have anything going on? No? Awesome. Can we connect? Can we just pour a glass of wine? I just have something I'd like to share with you. Would that work? Okay, so there's two ways you can ask it. I have something to share with you. Is now a good time? Or the second one is, I have something important to share with you. Would, and then you give them a time that would bring back the connection. And then please, please, please do not wait for them to come and find you. My God, have I seen so many people do this? They sit there and go, well, I set it up. They didn't come up. They didn't show up. You're the one who wants the different experience. You're the one who's craving the connection. Step into your power. Ask for it. Follow them. Hey, baby, it's 7 o'clock. Time to share. Hey, they might be freaking out. Right? They may be like, what the hell are you up to? That's okay. Because the next step is, baby, can you throw up that starters?
Yeah.
Sharing begins with you having that curiosity, having your clarity, and then setting up your way to share by doing appreciation, adoration, and experience. So you let them know, hey, I have something to share. I want to share my thoughts with you. I really love it. So let's just pretend that you're missing game night with them. Okay, you're missing just the one-to-one connection. No kids, no work, no dogs, whatever it is. And I really want to just connect with you tonight. I love it when you and I can just hang out, no phones, no distractions. I just feel so connected with you in that space. And I love when I get to see your face crinkle with laughter or the frustration when you put down the cards because I beat your ass. And, I would really love to be able to create a time for us to have that. Or even if it's of an interest of you to do more of it. What do you think? Okay. So, three things in there: giving them the appreciation, letting them know the adoration. So, the adoration is kind of tapping back into that tenderness of what is it that you really adore about them and you like about them, and let them know. Because guess what that's going to do? That's going to soften them. That's going to drop them into their hearts. That's going to help them feel, oh, I matter to you. And your then ask isn't going to just feel like an ask or a demand or a request. Okay. Other ways to set this up, especially if you're really struggling, say the two of you have been very distant lately and haven't quite been on the same page. In that space, it would be letting them know something like, and you have all of this in the download. And in the email that we send you after this, we will have the download attached. Okay. But in there, it would sound something like this: I'm just wanting to share with you. Is now a good time? Yes or no? And then when you do get to share, hey, I'm just wanting to let you know my thoughts. I'm kind of struggling as to how to share them because I'm figuring them out still myself. Don't worry. I don't need you to fix or solution. I just kind of need company to just talk out my thoughts. Are you willing? What that does is it lets them know what the heck you're up to. And it lets them know what you expect from them. Because 9 times out of 10, if you come in and you start sharing your challenges, your problems, your person's going to try to fix you because they want to have you feel better. And what we know is that doesn't have us feel better. That dismisses, that disqualifies, and that frustrates. So set them up to let them know what the heck you're up to. When I give this homework assignment to different couples, especially dudes, for whatever reason, and my honey, not that she gets homework, but when she uses this language, it really softens the person that might be more of what's called the pursuer, right? So the person that is always kind of wanting the closeness The other person can tend to be like, what are you up to now? So when you let them know you don't have to do anything, I love it. When you don't have to do anything, I just want to be with you. You just got to hang out with me. And it lets them off the hook. And then they can actually be there to do what you are asking of them. Okay. So, another one that is a common challenge is physical intimacy. Either one tends to want it more or feels like they're the ones that initiate it all the time. And so, either way, whatever way you're in, either the one that's like, good God, get your hands off me, or please put your hands on me, in that space is to let them know as well, hey, I have something to share with you. And some people, sex is a very tough topic because it's very vulnerable. And, if there's been challenges in initiating or accepting the initiating, then their guard is going to be up. So it's really helpful to let them know that you just want to talk about it. You don't expect it to go anywhere. In fact, you hope that it doesn't. We just want to get it out on the table. And then you can just start to share, most importantly, what's your experience like? And then share what your experience is like. When we can come together to talk about a challenge, that's where we can then, instead of it being between us, we can turn to face the challenge. Okay. The other part with the physical intimacy is take the whole big O off the table. Just find other ways to connect. Take the pressure off of performance, especially if it's been a challenge. Because in the dating days, we are flooded with awesome hormones that just amp us up and make us superhuman little rabbits. And it fades. So, how do you create that kind of connection again? First of all, emotional intimacy, like safety, being known, being seen by the other person, gentle, safe touch that doesn't feel like, oh, this is where it's going. And talking about it, just being like, hey, what do you want right now? What about a massage? What about a foot rub? What about just being side by side but touching? Okay. So, all of these places are areas that you can step into. And remember, the cost of you not fully stepping in is a life lived gray. When we try to keep ourselves emotionally safe, we stop taking risks with our person. We stop putting our needs in the mix and we start running all sorts of stories. In that place, we start saying, I'm fine. I'm good. All is good. I tell you, when you hear that from me, it is not good. It is not fine because we aren't fine. That's why we've started something called the Fuck Fine Club. This is a monthly membership where we support women to be able to show up on calls like this and break the stereotypes, break the old rules, and break the traditions that we all kind of fall into without really giving a lot of conscious thought. This is where we challenge women to dig deep, look at themselves, and go, what the heck do you want? And then we support them to go out and ask and try it, flop, and then do it again. Because in between the group monthly calls, there is access to me through our online private forum. All of that is $27 a month. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this, and then we're going to get to Q&A. In that Fuck Fine Club, this is a place where I'm finding women can hold on to their accountability. They can take a step, fall down, have the support, try it again. Fall down, have the support, try it again. If you work with me, I'm $150 an hour, $27 a month, and you still have access. Pretty good deal. Plus, more importantly, is you have a sense of sameness with other people. There's other women that have either walked in the steps that you've walked in or are walking where you need to go. And this is a place where we encourage women to have one hand forward, ready to accept support, and one hand back, ready to be able to offer support. Because when we teach, we master. All right. So if you want more about that, Linda's going to put, oh, you already did that. She put the link there. The first 5 people to register, you get a half hour free with me. And what that time is used for is this, like Try this out, and if it flops, it's probably because there was one or two words that weren't quite clear, or you maybe weren't clear on what you really, really wanted. Because you can't just say, "Hey, I want more time with you," and expect them to understand what that means. Because maybe they might be like, "All right, we're gonna go clean the motorbikes right now." And you'd be like, "Well, hell no, that's not what I want." Right? So, in this place, we want to be able to support you to step out, try something new, and learn what life is without constraints. Find you in the middle of the noise. And right now, I'd love to hear what's coming up for you. What are some of the yeah buts? Because I always get yeah buts. It's like, yeah, that might work for you, but it's not going to work with them. What if your person is very standoffish? Yeah, I hope that you can come on because I would love to hear the specifics of that. So the standoffish, I'm wondering if you are talking like they tend. I'm shy, no problem. Maybe just chat. Do they tend to stay busy, or do they give you the cold shoulder? What level of standoffish are we talking? Both. Okay. Yee. Okay, my dearest. And the first thing is for you to be very curious as to what is happening for them. So when you do see them being standoffish, either busy or, distancing from you, is to kind of ask and call it out and say, "Hey, I'm noticing you look like you're busy in your head right now. Are you?" So it's engaging in that first step of noticing what your assumption is, turning it into a question that's very kind, right? So curiosity involves us actually wondering about them, not having certainty. So the difference in that is I would see that and I'd be like, "Wow, you look like you're standoffish," or "You look like you're busy in your head," kind of accusatory. Versus if you're curious, you will say, "Hey, you look really busy right now in your head, or you look like you're deep in thought. Are you?" And that can kind of segue into you being able to ask for time. And again, for you to be very, very clear, what specific time do you want with your person? Is it heart to heart connection? And with someone who's really standoffish and they're not very comfortable with sharing their emotions, there is an app for y'all, and I'm now going to have my wife put that in chat in a minute. It's called the Gottman Card Deck, and in there is let me just pull it up on my phone to show you card deck. It is brilliant. Okay, it's for people who are in great relationships and people who are really struggling. Okay, so with your person who's very standoffish, you would pull up the question of open-ended questions, and you just let them know, "Hey, can we just have a glass of wine? Can we have a cup of coffee? Can we just hang out?" And I have these really neat conversation starters that would just allow us to talk on a different level. Would that be okay? And so far, most of the people that I have worked with, every time except for one, it works. The one time it didn't is because this couple did not want to put down being right. And my dearest, if you keep being met with the cold shoulder, with "I'm not interested," and you are truly putting your heart out there, you're getting information. And most importantly, you are learning about you. You are stepping into your power, your voice, and you are getting clear as to what you want. Because whether that relationship turns around and gets connected or whether you're clear and done, that is going to help you in your next relationship. You can then take those skills and connect better and deeper. But here's the caveat: you don't get to just try this once and conclude that, it doesn't work. It takes approximately 6 months of really trying it out because the first two times you most likely are just going to dip your toe in. Okay. We're humans. We have a tendency to protect our heart. And what I'm asking you to do is step in fully so that you stand a chance of having your needs met because they can't read your mind. And if you aren't specific and clear with yourself to be able to ask for what you want, you won't get those needs met. Like the simple example of Lynn's, like, let's go for a walk. And I'm all like, what? Why? I don't want to go for a walk. But when she told me that it's to connect with me and to shift our energy, I'm like, damn, that's a great idea. Right? Just checking up. Be
Yeah,
brave and clear.
Aaron had,
Yeah. Yay. And they are simple. Like the concept is that, like, curious, get clear with yourself, and then enter with I, right? Enter with your heart. That's the part where people dip their toe in and it backfires because they dip their toe in and they're looking to see, are you going to reciprocate? And you're the one who's put the time and energy into it to think about it, to initiate. They might be off solving a math problem. They might be off trying to figure out why the dog hasn't pooped today. You don't know. So you need to just be clear and get it out there.
mhm,
The bottom line is we, one, get a mindset of curiosity. Two, get clear as to what we want to experience with them. So whether it's heart to heart connection, intellectual stimulation, like if y'all went to like the museum together all the time and you don't anymore, think beyond COVID restrictions and find the free museum little things on TV. Like Linda's mom is doing it all the time. I think she's been all over the British Museum for like 3 months, right? And do it together. Create a living room where you now have your theater, move the chairs up, get your favorite concessions, junk out for the night, full on butter popcorn and just have that time. But you need to be clear as to what you want. And then number three is to initiate it. And in that initiation, in the download, Faye and everybody else, are the steps to be able to speak it. One, not notice the time, and then two, say your words in a way that you're giving appreciation, adoration, and then asking for your request. Every time I see someone truly get humble and ask from their heart, it works, except for the one couple that was not willing to put down their weapons. All right. Anybody else? Anybody nervous about this at all? Or like, I don't know. Oh, I love that. I'm nervous to live a great life. Amen. Oh, amen. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. I have an attachment because I know you and I really want you to join the Fuck Fine Club. Come on.
Bye.
It's like a Starbucks coffee a week.
Right?
Tomorrow night is our next call. So if you join today, you join us in the Fuck Fine Club and we dive deep into more of the intimacy, but we super coach as to yeah, buts. Yeah, I've tried that. And then we get really clear because that's what I do with my people all the time, right? Whether I'm coaching or doing therapy, is helping them discern where are they getting in their own way. Because my peeps, I get in my own way. And I know what it's like to be scared. I know what it's like to feel like you're stepping out of the comfort zone. And I also know what it's like to be out of that comfort zone. It is messy. It is delicious. It is alive. I have never been so alive in my life because I have the skills to be able to call that honey bunny over there to the line. And I'm blessed that she does. She's like, she doesn't necessarily always have the ability. Like she comes and she's like, what? You know? And we walk through it because I'm not a therapist to her, although we can have a whole other session as to what's it like being married to a relationship therapist. Oh my God. But in that space of being fully alive and just trying, number one, you meet yourself. You feel proud, you feel empowered. You're proud of yourself. Because here's the other thing: when you don't ask for what you want, you betray yourself. When you don't listen to the cues that, you know what? I love it. Yeah. When you don't listen to the cues that you're getting and it's like, this doesn't feel okay. and you don't speak to it, you betray yourself. And it's a slippery slope to a grayness. I've been there. I've been clinically depressed. I've had an eating disorder to hide my emotions. It has been a hard road. And I tell you, these skills, they can feel a little bit nerve wracking, but holy hell, are they worth it? Any questions at all?
You want to
If
start saying?
you express what you want, how specific should you be? I love this. Thank you. If I'm the one planning our outings, quite literally all the time, and part of what I want is for my person to arrange an outing. Where's the line? Oh, I love this. Do you say, I want a weekend away with you and hope they plan one? Or do you say, I want this and outline all the details? Wonderful. Okay. Might be a couple stager for you there
Mm.
because I did this one. Um, First of all, how willing are you to step away from any level of control with it? Right. And that is a very personal thing. Lynn's, she can pretty much surprise me, but I'm uncomfortable with it, right? A lot of people who are used to planning have ideas of how it works efficiently, how it needs to be, and the best rates and all of that. So ask yourself how much are you willing to step back? And if you are willing to completely step back, you need to let them know that you will do that because there's a chance if this is a long-term pattern, there's a chance that they're going to be terrified of stepping in to do something because they're not going to get it right. And it's decades, it's a challenge, but my bar isn't high at this point. Okay, be very specific then. Give them maybe give them an idea of where you want to go and ask, are you willing to please plan this? Give the dates so that they know kind of what your expectation is. So people who are more of what's called the underfunctioner, they're the ones that kind of wait to see what's happening before they step in. They're going to be more nervous about not getting it right. And they're also used to you doing for them. And so they're going to be a little bit more uncomfortable. So be very clear as to what you want, as far as where you want to go, what dates you want to do, what kind of activities you're hoping for, and then let them know that you're going to step back unless they have any questions. But it's a mutual thing and they agree to the dates. If if it's all agreed upon and they still don't deliver, that's information for you and you must circle back to it. You must bring yourself to that place of, gosh, I asked for this and you didn't do it. Why? How come? What was happening for you? Get to know their experience. Okay. Because sometimes it is that they are frozen in the worry of not getting it right. Maybe they're going through something that it is going to be too hard on their self esteem to get it wrong, that they would rather not do it at all. And wouldn't it be better to actually know what's happening? That's exactly where we are. Okay. So, is it better for you to know what's happening and to be able to find manageable bites for your person to be able to plan things? So, maybe it starts with a dinner. Can you please make reservations at a restaurant? Do you want to pick the restaurant or do you want me to pick it? Right? Can you plan a hiking excursion? And can you maybe surprise me with something, something in there, but I can figure out the rest of it for you. So start with manageable bites so they gain the confidence that when they show up, the way they show up is good enough. And here's the thing, do not criticize the way that they plan it. Because if you want them to show up, you cannot bash them, right? Because they're going to do it different. I remember this when I was parenting the little ones and I was in relationship with my ex-husband. And it time and time again, it was, I had this expectation that because we both talked about, how the kids would go to bed and blah, blah, blah. And I had the expectation that it would be done that way. Well, no, it never was done the same way I would do it because he wasn't me. And he didn't have the same values of me as that I did. So I would see that and I would criticize it. And then he'd be like, why bother? Of course. Right? So it's a matter of what really matters to you, making sure you speak it, and then letting that person show up the way they're going to show up. Because like my honey, my God, when we first started living together with the teenagers and their shit was everywhere, she was trying to like rally all of us and like, okay, let's all do this. Okay, let's notice this. Let's all clean. And I was like, what? And finally she realized that, you know what? It's important for her to have a clean surface. So she would just kind of like whatever and do it. And she got to the point of it was her importance, not necessarily ours. So she didn't want to fight it with the odd time that it was cluttered. So I hope that helps. Let me know, Lori, if not. Aw, aw. Anyone else? Do you think I like this? Ah, yes, I get that. Oh, I get that one. Yeah, I've been afraid to ask for things in fear of being disappointed. And that's kind of that place of, yeah, you might be disappointed, but then you got to follow up and let them know, right? Because why would they put in the effort if they don't have to? They get away with not doing it. I love that. And being very clear as to what you want, right? Okay, anybody else? I'd love to, like, if you got a yeah, but, or you're just like, yeah, I'm like, I want you leaving here going, like, I could totally do this. I'm going to do this. And this is what I want. And this is how I'm going to ask. And I'm totally going to be curious because I've been assuming this about them. Thank you, everybody, very, very much. I'm really, really proud of y'all that you are wanting a better for you. You super rock. Because when you can just step in fully, holy hell, that's when you get to see what the relationship has for you, right? Instead of like kind of assuming, and especially after the dating stuff is over and you start to just kind of pick up things from the past experiences and run stories. If you don't clarify those stories and you don't show up with what you want, you don't know what's actually available for you in the relationship, right? So well done. Love your energy here tonight. And I really encourage you to like consider doing the Fuck Fine Club because it's just this once a month. You just keep the progress going and then you test drive it and then you're like, holy shit, it went like this. And if not, please just stay like I think I don't know how it works. Linz takes care of it, but I think you'll be getting like regular newsletters where it's just me giving little tidbits. And then you'll know about the next webinar. So we'll have one, I don't know, I don't remember when. We're going to have another one in the next quarter, and at that point in time we'll be just continuing to teach little tools, and all of this, by the way, is backed by research. So all of these steps that I'm giving you is proven by over 40 years of research from John and Julie Gottman, who are incredible psychologists in the States. So anyway, I really hope that y'all have a great evening. Get in there, ask your questions, ask for what you want, be yourselves, and you got this. And if you do have a question, please reach out.